Hello and welcome back to the slaughter, everybody. Welcome back to Killing Floor, and we've got some new news for Killing Floor 3. So Killing Floor 3 has been delayed. I already made a video talking about this where it was supposed to come out in about a week or so from now, maybe about 2 weeks, at least as to when I'm making this video, but it was pushed back until sometime in 2025, which is probably for the best because there was a lot of backlash against the initial beta that we got, and there was quite a few problems with it. They did do away with the specialist class, which is good. Nobody wanted those, but we've got a new update here about the maps, and that was another fairly big complaint about Killing Floor 3. It definitely felt empty in a lot of the maps, and it didn't feel quite like Killing Floor. It looked like, you know, a generic city map, a generic factory map, a decent military base, honestly. I didn't mind the way that one looked, but at least that one looked kind of destroyed. Most of the other ones looked fairly fine, and they have been changed quite a bit. So we've got some screenshots here. This is of city, and this is some of the streets, and this looks way better than what we had before, where it is dark. We've got some fire going on here for lights. I didn't really have a problem with some of the maps being in daytime because Killing Floor 2 had those too. But it did seem a little bit strange that, like, the first map, or at least the first map when opening up, it was like the streets and then it's out in the daytime. So this one seems to be at night now, but we're probably still going to get a decent amount of light from things being on fire. You got blood all over the ground. We've got bodies there. We've got graffiti on the walls. That's good because originally the streets felt pretty empty. They just didn't feel like they had very much stuff there. It didn't really feel like an apocalypse was going on. So this looks way better than it did previously. We have some other screenshots here too, where this is the elevator in the streets map as well, and this one also looks far better now. This is gross, it is gory, it is exactly what I would think of when I think of like Killing Floor, at least an indoor map in Killing Floor, because this reminds me of something like Containment Station from Killing Floor 2. It looks good. This is what we want. We want more set dressings for just the map itself. It looks like it's been destroyed. It looks like there's been an apocalypse going on currently and is probably still going on. So yeah, this is much better than what we got previously. And I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. This is good that Tripwire is listening to the feedback and is willing to change these things. We've also got this shot from the streets, which looks fantastic compared to what the streets used to look like. This is no longer bright. This looks super grungy, super dark and horror themed. Looks like there's an apocalypse going on with crash cars, graffiti on the cars, which, yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing too in a city like this. This honestly kind of reminds me of the look of the Judge Dredd movie, where this kind of looks like that sort of city, and I think if you go with that aspect, which I think is a good template, especially if you're going to be doing future stuff like this in Killing Floor 3, where it's supposed to be taking place in sort of like this dystopian cyberpunk-like city, or just anywhere in the future, this works. This is pretty good. And I do kind of like that we can see some background stuff, like a tower on fire back there, because I didn't really notice that when we were playing on the city streets. So maybe we've got some more things going on in the background, similar to like when we had in Burning Paris and Killing Floor 2. So this looks good. I like this one a lot more. I like the neon in it too. The neon mixed with the blood and gore, I think fits really well. So that's pretty awesome. This is actually on the streets for the opening where they had the big old statue there. This one looks good too. I still like that you got like the cherry blossom trees out in front, or whatever the heck kind of trees those are. But you still got all the blood and gore across there. You got more graffiti on the walls. You've got all sorts of stuff here. And I do really like that this is set at night with even the moon lighting out this area. So that definitely looks a whole lot better. Now all we've got is the city streets right now. There was still 2 other maps that were released with the beta, which was the factory, and we also had the military base. The military base I honestly thought was okay. I didn't really mind it, although it could definitely still have, you know, a couple more bodies strewn around, some more blood, but at least it looked blown up and looked like there had been a big fight going on there previously at some point in time. So that one should be fairly easy to do. City looked like it was the most basic out of the maps that we got. Factory was kind of okay too. It reminded me similar to, I don't remember the map's name exactly in Killing Floor 2, but there was another factory map that we got in Killing Floor 2 that it kind of reminded me of, although in that one it was one of the ones where it just pushes you into a random room each time. So we'll see how that one looks. I think that one was kind of okay. Other than some of the like weird glitches that it had going on. But again, that was the beta, so. And this is actually pretty good news to start off with for Killing Floor 3 and moving forward as to kind of the things that most people didn't like. The map designs were kind of bland originally. They seemed kind of empty. But with this is going to feel like the world is a lot more lived in, which I like. I think that's a whole lot better. And getting rid of like the specialist system is fantastic. Let's see if they can change some other things too, like maybe make the guns sound a bit better, maybe change some of the models of the guns. I'm not so certain about that, just because modeling takes quite a while and animations take quite a while. I guess you could still just make weapons that use the same animations and just change up the models themselves. So we'll see how that turns out, and hopefully Killing Floor 3 comes out as a much better game than what the beta is. Hopefully, and kind of optimistically, I hope in like a year from now, we're getting videos that were like, you know, Killing Floor 3 started out pretty rough, but Tripwire and the developers listened and they decided, you know, we'll do what the fans really want. And hopefully we get something really, really cool out of this. So, yeah, tell me your thoughts on this. How do the maps look to you? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.